Oh, you didn't know? Well, you probably should have called somebody. Loose Lugs Racing League, the newly branded Loose Lugs Racing League, is back on Vidane TV here on Wednesday nights, and we are very excited to kick things off here for the Daytona 200 by Secret Simulations. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth, alongside me, my brother from another mother, Rowdy Wesley Hogue. Wes, it's great to have you here on Wednesday night. Great to be working with you once again here, the OGs of Vidane TV on a Wednesday night. What's going on, brother?
Welcome to Vidane TV, Paul. It is good to be back here in the booth. I don't get to do it as much as I used to, but when I do, we always have fun up here. And Paul, I'm looking forward to it. I believe we have 200 miles here at the Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing. And it looks like we have one heck of a battle coming up here for us in this Cup Series. And seeing Bobby Justice sitting on the pole, Paul, that only means one thing. We're going to have some action.
100%. 80 laps, 200 miles on the docket here for the World Center of Racing at Daytona. A couple of newcomers to the league up there on the front row. These guys qualified in via the duels earlier on here tonight. A couple of heat races, 12 lappers, Bobby Justice and Jamison Middlemiss, both starting on row one as they get rolling off the pace car, or off of pit road.
Row two, it looks like it's going to be started by Charles Stevens in the number 20 machine with Ken Eller in the number 23, starting fourth.
Larry Levener in the fifth position, starting that number 12 car, and starting in the sixth spot, Preston Perrier. You can see the rest of the starting order going across your stream, going across your screen rather there, both on the left-hand side, the scoring tower, as well as that great big graphic right there in the center of your screen. And really looking forward to this. Trevor Absher, young Trevor Absher, barely old enough to celebrate his championship and his victory in the last race of the season last year, but very, very excited. Was very late to work the next day, but came home high energy, high talent. He's going to be starting inside row number 2 in that number 19 car. Definitely going to be one of the drivers to watch here this evening, and this field is just stacked. These guys put on a fantastic show last season, coming in for about 3/4 of their season last year, and very happy to have them back here, and big-time sponsorships all the way throughout the season. And these guys are ready to rock and roll, ready to crown a new champion here, and getting ready to bring us into the winter months here and the fall months here for Vidane TV when we get ready to pick things up. Lots of cool things coming at you. We got some Liberty Racing coming at you on Thursday nights, or some Thursday nights. A couple of Monday shows in there as well, but there goes Pace Car, non-manufacturer specific. We're going green flag racing here at Daytona. Bobby Justice on the pole, Jamison Middlemiss in the 16 on the outside. Green flag is in the air. They thunder down turn number 1.
Coming up through the gearbox, ladies and gentlemen, coming into turn 1 and 2, we see Bobby Justice in that bottom line start to file out. If you're not familiar with plate racing here in the Cup car at Daytona, at Talladega, plate racing is a little rough to do in these Cup cars with this package. Oh, and we got a spin. Around goes Jamison Middlemiss. He flies off the front bumper of Wayne Bowen coming straight off of turn 2. He came down and the 11 was there of Wayne Bowen. The action picking up very early here at the Daytona International Speedway. Not expecting that to happen as quickly as it did, but man, tough break there for Jamison. Man, that started off pretty early.
Yeah, caution flag already out. Gives us an opportunity to take a look at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And we saw this almost happen live on our screens here. And we'll take a peek here to see exactly what went down with that number 16 car. We started a second and dropped back a few positions. Was kind of leading on that outside line. And we'll take a peek at it here from this camera angle. And you can see there's the 16. Keep an eye on him. He's the white and black car on the outside. And looks like he tried to come down, and the 11 car was there. A couple of cars going for the same piece of real estate. Wayne Bowen there in the 11 Air Jordan Camry, and big damage there. There you can see it on the front of that 16 Hyper Ice Camaro, but he does grab a gear. He gets that thing going, so he's probably going to come down pit road, see if he can't get some of that damage fixed and get back out on track. So caution early here, lap number 1 at Daytona.
Paul, as I was trying to say there before the battle commenced, passing here and running side by side is a little bit harder with the Cup cars at these plate tracks or tapered spacer tracks, these draft tracks. It's so much harder. There's a bubble in between the two cars, the car from the front and the back. There's a lot of side draft. You can easily pull up to a driver, slow him down, and it makes a really big difference, Paul.
Yeah, 100%. You and I both have some super speedway racing experience. You've got a couple more wins than I do, but well, heck, I ran the league a little bit longer. So back in the Verdane racing days, that's all we ran was super speedways for the longest time, and it's really a high-speed chess match. Easy enough for me to say, as we've got probably about 12 drivers down on pit road here. Wayne Bowen, Matt Mackin, Drew Moffitt, Colin Zemer, among others, coming down for some early service to their machines. And you can see Bobby Justice still out front. Trevor Absher moves himself up into the second position. Larry Levener running in third. Preston Prier and Dave Douthwaite up in the top 5. And other than that, the lineup hasn't really changed too much. About a lap, 3/4 of a lap of racing here. And really excited to have these guys back. As you can see, everybody kind of getting bunched up after those pit stops, maybe getting some damage worked on a little bit. There you see Gravedigger number 4 car, Pete Woodrum, running one of the old Kevin Harvick schemes. And that's one of the cool things about this league. The formerly known as the Fatheads Cup Series, rebranded for this season, the Lugz Lugz Cup Racing. Everybody here runs the NASCAR teams, the NASCAR paint schemes, and sponsors. So anyone that you see in the real-life NASCAR world that would be working together, like all of those cars and his teammates, and the Hendrick Motorsports cars and the Richard Childress cars, everybody runs similar teams and similar paint schemes, and you'll see a couple of cars that might have a little bit of a mashup paint scheme that have one of the league sponsors on there as well. So very cool, something to kind of keep a look at, especially here at Daytona. You and I, Wes, both know that a lot of the racing here is done with teammates and guys that you've worked with and kind of guys that you've practiced with.
Yeah, these super speedway racing, it's all about teamwork. It's all about co-opetition, Paul. And the way this is right now, I'll tell you what, it's hard to pass here at Daytona as it is with this package. You need more than 2 or 3 cars going on the outside to get a run. You need half the pack almost to get the pack up and going and get some side-by-side racing. So needless to say, we got the field doubling back up here. We're going to be coming to the 1 to green. Again, your leader is still Bobby Justice. On the outside of him is Trevor Absher with Larry Levener in the 12 running second. That beautiful number 38 machine of Preston Superior running fourth. Fifth is David Douthwaite. Sixth is Ed Boyles Jr. Seventh will be Kevin Ruff in the number 8 machine. On his outside will be Pete Woodrum in 8th in that 4. And then rounding out your top 10 is Wade Palmer in the 24. And looks like the 23 is supposed to be moving up of Ken Eller. He should be lining up 10th here. So a little bit of issues here we're hearing from the race control. They're trying to clear that up. Hopefully we don't have to extend the yellow. Looks like everything should be good to go, and hopefully we get some green flag racing here at the Daytona International Speedway.
32 cars made the call here for the kickoff of the Lugz Lugz Cup Racing Series, and 32 cars still in this race, still on the lead lap. Michael Miller in the 48 car rounding out the field there, coming off pit road, getting some service done to that machine, and he's going to catch that Hendrick Motorsports 48 car back up to the field. But there you go, the pace cars going down pit road, going green flag are racing once again. Bobby Justice once again on the inside, and looks like they're already starting to stack up just a bit in the back of the field. They get it sorted out. Green flag is in the air once again. Lap number 5 getting ready to be in the books.
Paul, it's easy to stack it up here, and we've seen a little bit of it right there. Looks like so far so green. Looks like they may have been able to work that out as they head down into 1 and 2. Leaders are side by side hard. One thing you got to watch out for is losing the draft. Only a few cars working together on the outside here coming out of 2 as they get the full song coming down the backstretch, and caution is out. Caution is out one more time here at Daytona. Again, coming out of turn 2. Not exactly sure what happened here, Paul, but we do have the caution flying.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any cars or drivers pointed in the wrong directions. This may very well be an administration / race control caution. They might not have liked what they saw there on the start. 'Cause we're looking, everybody seems to be pointed in the right direction. So, gonna bring up the field here. Trevor Absher looks like he's gonna lead that lap when the caution flag comes out. So, last season's champion, last winner of the last race of the season, winner of the championship, picking up from where he left off, and that's out front. Trevor Absher definitely going to be a car to beat here in that Martin Truex number 19 looking car.
Paul, listening to race control, this was an admin controlled caution here, trying to get the starting order back the way it should have been, as the leaders take the pace car on the backstretch. So yeah, this is an admin controlled caution. Just to get everything back the way it should be. And we should be going 1 to go next time around, hopefully.
So a quickie yellow here just to get things lined up. And one of our friends here at Vidane TV, Randy the Plumber, would be ecstatic. He's a big fan of Trevor Absher. He came out here and did some commentary with us here with the Fatheads Cup Series last season. Again, rebranded to the Lugz Cup Series. And Randy the Plumber's no stranger to the racing world. All of his viral TikTok videos and YouTube videos and all of his Facebook and social media supporters came in, helped us out last season. A couple of months ago, did a couple of shows here on Vidane TV, and big Martin Truex Jr. fan too, so it might be a little bit of a connection there between Trevor Absher and Randy the Plumber, but more than likely have him up here in the booth throughout this Lugz racing series here on Wednesday nights, doing a little double-header action. We're just coming off the Tim's Corner Motorsports Tim's Corner Live podcast, episode number 26, with an iRacer Cole Butch headlining that show. You can check out all the replays of that over on the Tim's Corner Motorsports Facebook page, as well as the Vidane TV YouTube page, where we've got over 500 live shows that Wes, you and I have worked together on probably about half of those shows, and pretty cool to see just where we've come from last March. Started out in the pandemic times, or the pandemic era, as it were, and still rocking here about a month or a year and a half later, and we got a big winter coming up. Lots of leagues coming on. NEPS, the New England Pennsylvania iRacing Series, coming back here. They've got a schedule posted, kicking off on October 5th, the fully sponsored season. A lot of the drivers bringing some of their real-life sponsors from their late model gimmicks to the sim racing world, and it's pretty cool to see. A lot of the guys from Jennerstown, big racing weekend here from Jennerstown coming up, and a lot of the Stafford Speedway regulars in there as well. Some drivers from up in Oxford, and a couple of Canadians sprinkled in the mix too, and it's cool to see, and we've got these guys carrying us through the winter. We've got Sim 500 Trans-Service Cup Series action coming at you Monday nights here on Vidane TV. They're bringing us all the way through the month of November, as is the Multi-League Cup Series here on Thursdays. And still trying to get ramped up for the winter months, for the fall months. Lots of action going on here at Vidane TV, and we still do have some openings. So if you're interested in getting your league out there, whether it's iRacing, NASCAR Racing 2003, R-Factor, any kind of racing game, heck, we'll even do an SRX race if we needed to. Definitely give us a shout. Shoot us a message on Facebook, on YouTube, any of the social media outlets. We can work with you. Very flexible here at Vidane TV. Maybe not in the physical aspect, but definitely we can work with anybody's schedule.
Shout out to Vidane TV, man. It has been a long ride, man. From where we started of two guys with a beer in their hands, so let's call some iRacing action, and to what it's turned into. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm always glad to grab some time here with you in the booth when we get the opportunity. But now we have the opportunity to get some green flag racing in. Seems like they got the field exactly how they need it. It has kind of changed it up front a little bit. Trevor Absher is now your leader with Bobby Justice on his outside. Chris Imperior is third. Larry Leveners is fourth, and the fifth to Ed Boyles Jr. It looks like sixth and possibly maybe the four of Pete Woodrum. So they're still trying to work something out here, working out the kinks early in the race. Still a long way to go. This is a 80-lap race, so long race. Let's get all the kinks worked out now, so when it comes time for this long green flag run, you don't have to worry about it. So it looks like the 8 car is actually going to line up on the outside of the 5 of Boyles, and that will be cabin rough. So Get everybody where they need to be before we go green here at the World Center of Racing.
Getting things kicked off in a big way here at Daytona for the Secret Simulations 200 Daytona International Speedway. Getting ready to watch that pace car dip on off the pit road one mo again. Trevor Apsher now going to restart on the inside. Justice on the outside in the number 2 car. Getting ready to go green flag, and you can see just everybody all the way through. We're going to try and take some opportunity here with some green flag racing to go through. Take a peek at some of these new paint schemes for these guys. New season always means new colors and a couple of driver swaps and team swaps, and some rookies coming into this series as well, graduating in from the truck series on Thursday nights. And you can see Trevor Apsher already has about a 10th of a second lead on that bottom side. You can see he's glued to that double yellow line.
That yellow line is your friend here in the Cup car. You got to make them earn it on the outside because it is not easy to get the run. As you can see, most of the field is starting to get single file on the bottom. You got a few takers on the outside trying to get it done. And now it looks like, Paul, that about the top 18 have already pulled away heading into 3 and 4. This is the farthest we've gone so far in this race with green flag action. Looks like they may have finally figured it out, but one after another, now that outside line is only a couple cars strong with one straggler in the back of Kenny Kapala trying to get up there to the drivers. Larry Levener stuck on the outside with Bobby Justice, but single file for the rest of the way.
And you can already see we've got 2 very distinguished packs, about like 18 cars in the front pack, like you made mention. A couple of drivers still kind of struggling to get to that bottom side, and everybody in that second pack on back there, you can see there's about 5 cars, and then another 5, 6, 7 cars or so. Not well. Now they're starting to line up there on the backstretch, but they need to get their act together. They don't want to lose the draft here, and we've seen that happen many, many times. Daytona, Talladega, and even the iRacing Super Speedway that came last year, sometime probably about halfway through the year. Once that front pack gets lined up single file like this, they're really able to click off some laps. They're able to draft off of each other and really get some quick lap times and able to pull away. So they're going to have to get, you can already see here too, 7 cars of that 18-car breakaway starting to line up pretty tight. So getting ready to do a little conveyor belt action. You can see that's exactly what Trevor Apsher wants to see in front of him. Nothing but the racetrack as he shoots on down, barreling into turn number 3.
So it looks like this crew is getting in a groove here at this Loose Lug Nuts Cup Series. As you see now, most of the field has gotten single file. Sometimes that's the best thing to do here at Daytona. Just settle in. 80 laps is a long way to go here. So 200 miles. So you see the 77 of Kenny Kapala has made his way to the bottom. Bobby Justice going to try to squeeze his way in front of him in the 2. So he went from sitting on a pole to 14th just by being on that outside. Again, it's frustrating as a driver here, Paul. You want to make some moves. You want to make it fun, but it's so hard to do with the bubble in between you and the car in front of you, as well as the side draft. You always take a chance. If you saw the 24 Wade Palmer go up high, he sneaks right back in. That opens up some time. Here comes Wade Palmer, the 4th. In that number 43 machine. Big checkup. So we're going to see what he can do on the outside all by him lonesome. Nobody else goes with him. He side drafts with the 8. Again, you want to be careful with that. You can pull that driver back, then all of a sudden you have only a 5 car. And they make contact with the 8. They make contact with Kevin Ruff. Ruff, able to save it. They scatter behind him. And the 12 hits the grass of Revenant. It comes back up on the track. Everybody saves it. Great heads up racing by further back in the pack as we stay green. As the 8th of Kevin Ruff, we had the little bit of a pucker moment there. One heck of a save.
Everybody gathers it, backs up, keeps it pointed in the right direction. You can see 6 or 8 cars broken away there up towards the front, and these guys are still able to hold on to that lead draft. As you can see, the 8 car, a little bit of damage, a little bit of kicked in there on the Goodyear Camaro, but no harm, no foul. That could have been a whole lot worse than it was.
That's how quick the action can get vamped up here at Daytona. And it got a little scary. We were just talking about how this can become a lull by being single file because there is no high line. But just like that, it only takes one driver trying to make a move. But here is the big issue now. We only have a 6-car pack up front. That means Kevin Ruff needs to line up with the 23 of Ellert and do what it takes to get on his bumper and just form a line back there. The 12-11 are still trying to work his way on the outside for some reason. He's still on the outside here, dropping like a rock. Best thing they can do, though, as drivers is get single file, try to catch that front pack of 6.
And we saw just from that wide shot there, 6, 7 cars up towards the front, really on each other's bumpers. They aren't weaving back and forth too much. And then you can see the second picture here, coming off of turn number 2, shooting down the backstretch. Not quite as lined up. They are lined up, but they aren't quite as tight. And there's a couple of drivers that are still kind of ducking in and out and weaving in and out just a little bit to get some cool air on the front bumpers of those cars. So losing a little bit of time, even though they've got a bunch of cars, almost twice as many cars here in this second pack. They aren't quite as tightly put together as those front 7 cars are. And there you can see from that wide angle shot, that baby blue number 43 of Wade Palmer to the 4th, new car and new team for that driver, slipping on into the Petty Motorsports entry. But you can see Ken Ellert in the number 23 Toyota. McDonald's on the hood. He's got Goodyear right behind him. Planters Peanuts. Lots of new sponsors, lots of new colors for these drivers, and some fantastic paint schemes as well. A couple of drivers trying to make a peek on the outside, and they think better of it. Back at the tire tracks, they're going to see if they can catch this front pack.
Yeah, Paul, I'm not sure exactly what the logic is further back there to race how they are. And I think if I'm them, man, I'm trying to stay single file and try to catch that lead pack. But Joshua Battles in the 41, he went up high, and he's getting trained back by Tommy Kelly in the 3 machine. And now they're doing exactly what they need to do. They're single file. If you're the 23 of Ellert, you're going to drag that brake a little bit, get the 8 car on your bumper, and push as hard as you can. Because now they got some ground to make up here, Paul. They're back at least a few seconds here, and you don't want to fall back 3-4 seconds at Daytona, no matter how many cars you got with you. It can be hard to catch up. Now, granted, they have the advantage when it comes to car counts, I believe. They got closer to 8-9 cars compared to that 6, but if they cannot get in some kind of form here as they start to snake around, you're kind of sealing your fate until you got some pit stops.
One thing we can already see is that third pack and a line starting to actually make up some ground here on this second pack. They're put together pretty well. A couple of drivers still on the outside, but there you can see a couple of stragglers here in the second pack, and then the third pack getting put together pretty well, led by the number 9 of Matt Mackin. And you can see there's 2 or 3 cars still on the high side here trying to feel that out just a little bit, and it looks like they're actually scattering a bit here just to spread things out. So a lot of drivers towards the back of the pack. Wes, you and I have used this strategy many, many times in many different super speedway races. Kind of find your way towards the back of the pack, give yourself a little bit extra room, hold on to the lead draft if at all possible, and basically try to avoid wrecks. Once you see the smoke, let off the throttle and make sure nobody's behind you to kind of get into the back bumper, because it's easy to control your car, but it's tough to control everybody else's. So a couple of drivers towards the back here. Quick cars just kind of hanging out and trying to avoid any kind of calamity here early on, working lap number 18 of 80 here at Daytona.
We have 3 distinctive packs here. The first pack, obviously, led by our leader, who's doing a heck of a job just showing the way. That's Trevor Apsher. That's only 6 cars. All right. And our second pack is led by Ken Ellert. They're making up a little bit of ground, not really much. That is about, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cars, 12 cars, 13 cars in that group. It is Eller's leading it. In the back with Bobby Justice, and then further in the back, you have Matt Mackin in that number 9 machine. He's all the way back in 19th. He has a few cars with him as well. It looks like they have about 7, 8 cars with them. So there's 3 distinctive packs here. Don't know if this was by strategy or just an issue on the restart, but each pack is slowly creeping to the other one here, Paul.
And we've seen this happen time and time again at super speedway racing. Packs kind of or the field gets split up into packs, and once everybody kind of gets comfortable working with other drivers and maybe somebody that's not necessarily on their team, or maybe they don't necessarily share the same garage area or Discord channel or voice chat or whatever it may be, you kind of work with who's around you. And a lot of times you got to get comfortable with that driver, make sure you know how they're going to react to certain things that happen on the track and how they're going to react to other people's reactions. So a couple of drivers kind of feeling things out here. 20 laps in the books. Here's 60 laps to go at Daytona. We got some pit stops coming up here as well. I believe we're running full fuel loads here with the Lugz Racing Series. Be able to check them out on Facebook. Just do a quick search and you'll pop them right up. You'll be able to catch them on Verdane TV's Facebook page as well. And you'll be able to check out a lot of these races that these guys did. A little bit of Speaking of pit stops, if we got a couple of pit stops happening now, Ed Boyles Jr., Pete Woodrum, both the Wade Palmers slipping down pit road. Green flag pit stops happening here in a hurry at Daytona.
Oh! A little bit of an incident going down pit road here. Sorry about that, Paul. The 37 machine of Ian Yeager just about hit pit road wall. Came in a little hot. You have drivers coming in, a driver here, driver there from the three different groups. The 5 of Ed Boyles completely misses its pit stall, overshoots it by a stall and a half, still can't get in his stall. He's still struggling. The 5 car of Boyles Jr. cannot get in his, there he finally goes. He just lost a ton of ground. No good news there for Ed Boyles in the 5. The 12 comes out hard of Larry Levener. He gets rocking and rolling, probably a little slower than he wanted to, but a tough break there for our driver there in the 5 of Boyles Jr. And now the 12 of Larry Levener letting a couple cars go by on the apron here, but wow, that was crazy.
100%.
Hearing from the drivers, I'm sorry, pit signs were not working there. Drivers could not see their pit signs.
Every once in a while, there we see the 38 misses his pit stall. New leader comes down. He was able to get around Trevor Apsher before he came down pit road, and he drove past his pit stall. But one of the things I'm noticing, as both the 19 and the 38 car pull away, they're going to win the race off pit road with this group. Kevin Ruff, Charles Stevens, Tommy Kelly, Kenny Capola, and Chris Spear down on pit road, as well as Bobby Justice in that number 2 car, still sitting in that number 1 stall. But that's one of the things that can happen here at iRacing. You have to plan for the worst. You have to make sure that you're ready for just about everything. I believe these drivers can make about 45, maybe 42 laps or so on fuel. So I think we might be seeing a little bit of short pitting action here. And we saw almost all of those drivers take 2 tires, if any tires at all. So that may very well play a factor in here. 80 laps is a long way to go with just 2 tires here at Daytona.
Yeah, that's an interesting strategy, Paul. That's typically at Daytona. You try to get your beginning stops. You try to run your fuel as far as you can, so you need the least amount as possible when it comes down to that last one. Unless they're trying to split it up, where each and every time they just take a full tank, and they don't have to worry about doing the math. That's typically not the way I try to do it, but if that's what they're all doing, that's pretty cool. Unless, Paul, I'm not sure if you know this league, if they run a different percentage for their fuel loads. If they're running 50% fuel, then that would have definitely made sense.
Well, we'll find out together. Taking a look at the leaders right now. 3-car breakaway. Caleb Levener, Guy Bonafide, and Dave Douthwaite out front. And they've got the 5-car there trying to get his lap back the hard way. Ed Boyles Jr. after struggling there on pit road. He's up there with these top 3 drivers. And it's about 3.5 seconds or so back to Tim Wortman Jr., Jimmy Absher, Wayne Bowen in the 11 car, the 18, and the 00. All working together, haven't come down pit road, as well as Drew Moffitt. So there's 7 cars on track, have not made it down pit road. Everybody else has made it there for at least their first pit stop of the night.
Quite a few about to come down pit road here, Paul. They are calling it. They're going to head down pit road, get serviced, and move on up, as Michael Miller in the 48 has a little bit of bobble. He lets the 41 Josh battle side by side. If we can go to that real quick, Paul, you're going to see what the side draft will end up doing. These 2 drivers are running side by side. Just running side by side, that allowed the few drivers that are here in front of them pull away quite a bit, about a half second or so, which is quite a bit here at Daytona. So that side draft is something fierce at this raceway. As down pit road, Tim Wortman and the double yacht coming out of his pit stall, as well as many others. Jimmy Absher is on his way out, so that should be the last of the green flag stops. Actually, no, Paul, I'm incorrect. I'm sorry about that. Looks like a couple more coming down pit road as we speak. Guy Bonifield comes in really hot. There's no way the 33 made speed. Caleb Lever in the 21 possibly had a little bit of a speeding issue there too, but 33 did not make it. I'll put the money on that.
You can see he comes to a stop. He's going to get at least right side tires after locking up the brakes real hard on that car. Looks like he might be getting left side tires as well. There they go, and we'll see if he's going to get a speeding penalty on that. We're going to take a look here. This is the front pack. Wade Palmer the 5th now leading in the number 24 car. Trevor Apsher right behind him. Preston Perrier, Pete Woodrum, and Wade Palmer the 4th in this mix, as well as the number 51 of Eric Kling in that car as well. They're going to come around. They're going to inherit the lead. And looks like it's about 3 seconds back to the next pack. It's led by Charles Stevens there, the number 20 Camry.
Little update in pit road. They did, both drivers got a speeding penalty of 21 of Caleb Lebner, as well as Guy Bonifield in the 33. They're both being held on pit road for their penalties, which is the way the penalty works on iRacing. So The 21 is now scooting on down. The 33 has not yet. He should be here very, very soon, as there he goes. Both of those drivers have served their penalties. They'll go back out and compete, but without a caution, it's going to make it a pretty much impossible, Paul, for them to get back into the running of this. But now back up towards, I wouldn't say exactly the front, but Larry Levener in the 12 makes a move around. He's able to get that outside going. Quite a few of the drivers now working the outside, pinning the 18 to the bottom, working their way around the outside of the 18 as they line up. Again, though, you're so far back. I would say you want to stay lined up and try to catch that lead pack. That lead pack, Paul, has dwindled down to only, well, it still has 6 cars, but it pretty much a bigger lead on Charles Stevens in the 20 than what they had when they first pitted. So that lead pack of cars did a wonderful job.
And you can see they're all still lined up bumper to bumper throughout the field here, kind of working together just a little bit. Now it's Charles Stevens, the number 20 car, leading a couple of cars, 4 cars to be exact, trying to close in on these leaders. And there you can see him in the wide shot. And there's a couple of lap cars in the mix as well. But still, a couple of drivers on the tail end of the lead lap. There you see the 33 and the 21 after their pit road woes. They're going to get ready to lose a lap here. They're going to try and stay out front, maybe hope for a caution here and not lose a lap. You can see they're going to try and tuck in front of the leader here, but they're right on the tail end of the lead lap, right on the brink of losing that lead lap, and that's a big thing here, especially if we end up with a long green flag run, which is a lot of times typically how we see these plate track races. We'll get a couple of quick yellows up in the front of the race, and then we'll get some long green flag racing action, and it looks like we're getting ready to see that as we just wrapped up green flag pit stops. And looking at the scoring, 30 cars on the lead lap still. Bobby Justice currently on pit road, as well as the 16 of Jamison Middlemiss that after that first lap wreck in that number 16 Camaro. But you can see the 33, the 21 still trying to hold on to the lead lap. Caleb Levener, Guy Bonafide, right out in front of our leader here, Wade Palmer the 5th.
Watching the action throughout the pack here. That green flag stop definitely it mixed up the field, Paul. Where the action ends up being, if you go back to 29th, basically right in front. I'm sorry, the leader Wade Palmer and Trevor Absher in that number 19. Preston Perrier running 3rd in that 38. Wade Palmer the 4th, running 5th in the 43. Then you got Pete Woodrum in the 4 and Eric Kling in the 51 lining up behind them. Here's the thing that Wade is doing, though. This is interesting. The 24 Wade Palmer the 5th has latched on to Guy Bonifield and Caleb Levener, the 2 lap cars that sped, or the 2 cars that sped down pit road, essentially about to be lap cars. Wade Palmer is just enough of their draft to pull away from Trevor Absher. The way he was doing that is because of what you're seeing right now, the side-by-side racing. That side draft creates such a pull in between the 2 cars, slows them down enough where the cars in front of them can pull away. And that's exactly what the 24 Wade Palmer the 5th was able to do. And let's see how long that will last now with Wade Palmer the 4th and that 43 getting single file with Eric Kling.
Yeah, we can see these guys in this this front pack kind of reorganizing themselves just a little bit. Some guys a little bit more comfortable out front, other guys a little bit more comfortable pushing in the rear. And you can see the 43 car of Wade Palmer the 4th very comfortable being out front. He's going to close back in, or try and close back in on the bumper there of Wade Palmer the 5th in the 24 car and those lead or those cars that are just getting ready to lose a lap. And you can see just how well 2 cars are able to work together and kind of close that gap as they pull the Pete Woodrum machine, the number 4, the Gravedigger Kevin Harvick paint scheme. And there you have it. The 2 cars catch right back up to the 24's bumper. And you can see that little bit of a blink, that little bit of a glitch out of the 24 could be an internet connection issue that we'll have to keep an eye on for Wade Palmer the 5th.
So now the lead car group is 3 as we see the 24 blinking in and out. I'll tell you what, that draft from those 2 cars in front of them are helping out so much. Even if Wade Palmer the 4th and Eric Kling want to make a run, they can't because he has such a draft off those 2 lap cars. And that's going to work out for him until they have to pit again. Pete Woodrum in the 4th, Trevor Absher 5th, and then the 38 Preston Perrier in 6th. They're still in striking distance as you see that draft get broken up just a little bit in front of them. That 4 machine is able to just suck right up to the bumper of the car in front of them, which is Eric Kling. Let's see what he ends up doing with it. Sits right in line good, smart move there, Paul, because if you duck out and the guy doesn't behind you, you're going straight to the back.
And this is exactly one of the more comfortable spots you want to be midway through a race. We're six or seven laps or so shy of the halfway point here. The Daytona 200 brought to you by Secret Simulations. These guys are comfortably in the top 10, in the top two-thirds of it. You can see the second pack there. There's only 4 cars not really able to close in. And whoa, a little bit of contact there with the 13 and the 19, or the 38 rather, in the 19 car, but they gather it back up. 38 loses just a little bit of momentum, but definitely a comfortable spot to be in as we approach the midway point. And you can see another 4 cars back here. Charlie Stevens, Tommy Kelly, Kenny Capola, and Tim Ingram running together here, trying to make up a little bit of distance. But then it's a big gap, about 6 seconds back to Ken Ellert. Not really much organization here in this pack. 3 drivers down on the bottom side, 3 on the high side, trying to make decisions on where they want to be. You can see Ellert, Miller, Douthwaite, Ruff, Battles, Wortman Jr., and Boyles in this pack. And back here, check that, Ed Boyles in the 5 car after some pit road woes. He's back here leading this 3rd pack, back here in the 17th position. They've got about 6 or 7 cars, though. Hume, Mackett, Levener, Absher, Wayne Bowen, Ian Yeager, and Ryan Kling. So the field is pretty split up right now. We can still see Wade Palmer the 5th out front. Wade Palmer the 4th is there in 2nd, and still chasing these lap cars. Looks like they've actually gained a little bit of momentum. They're going to be closing in on another car here. So we'll see if they're going to kind of stick with the other lap cars or if he's going to drop towards the back of the pack.
Hoping we see that further backpack we saw being led by the 23 of Ellert. Hopefully they can get single file and try to make some ground up on the pack in front of them, because you see so much of the side-by-side racing back there with that pack, which is holding them back from making a move. But however, up front, you see the battles that are happening here in front of you. The 24 of Wade Palmer catching up on more of the lap traffic of Colin Zemer in the 32 machine there in front of him. The 43 of Wade Palmer, the 4th, getting a little bit of a run here on the back of the 24. Let's see if he ends up doing anything with it, or if the 24 has too much of a run from the lap traffic that is in front of him. It'll be interesting to see if anybody tries to come out and kind of pull out in a situation like this. But so far, everybody's just, they're comfortable just riding the bottom, staying single file for now until it comes down to it. And I'm hearing about 5 laps to the next pit stop. So sounds like, Paul, they might be running a different percentage of fuel where they have to come in and pit a little earlier than typical for 100%.
Yeah, sounds like about a 60% fuel load for these drivers here at Daytona. And we just saw the 32 car, Colin Zemer, was able to tuck right in behind the number 21 and the 33, those 2 lap cars, and they're kind of working together. And you can see they're very tightly put together there in front of the leader, Palmer the 5th. And they were able to hold on. The 16, though, however, of Middle Miss had a little bit too much damage. He kind of sunk right on past the field here after that front end damage in that early round wreck. A couple of cars down pit road. Charles Stevens, Tommy Kelly, the 20 and the 3 car, coming down pit road. Green flag pit stops once again. And now you can see these lap cars, they're getting pretty racy. They're getting put together. They're starting to gap the leader just a little bit. And you can see the 14 car there, Derek Cook, trying to hold on to the lead, the tail end of the lead lap. So pit stop's really going to be interesting. Some of these lap cars can go an extra lap than the leaders. So we'll see if caution, in fact, does come out, or if we're going to say another set of green flag pit stops all the way through.
This is where it gets interesting. We see it make and break drivers. Let's see what ends up happening here. You see most of the field coming in here, at least most of the leaders here coming in. A couple guys in the back. This is an opportunity for them to possibly make up a little bit of ground, try to graft up, try to speed up some of that draft, but you got to stay single file at this point and push as hard as you can on the guy in front of you as the 5 car of Ed Boyles Jr. locks him up coming in. Hopefully he was able to slow down. We'll keep an eye on that, see if he was able to roll him up. Whoa, there goes the 15 of Ryan Kling. I really doubt the 15 of Ryan Kling just came in and he just overshot his stall. I don't think he made it. We'll monitor that as well. There's a couple cars that came in really, really hot. So more green flag action here at Daytona.
And you can see both sides of the car going up this time, trying to get 4 tires on that, on the car and out onto the racetrack. But a dozen drivers down there on pit lane. And the lead pack's now led by Trevor Absher out front, Ken Ellert, Michael Miller, Josh Battles. They're all going to dip on down pit road from their top 10 spots. Right now, Trevor Absher, Preston Superior, Dave Douthwaite, Calvin Ruff, Tim Wortman Jr., Jimmy Absher, and Wayne Bowen, the drivers that have not come down pit road just yet. trying to stretch it out as long as they can. One lap here from the halfway point. You can see Trevor Absher still kind of lagging back a little bit behind those lap cars. Looks like they picked up another 2 or 3 lap cars in that little pack, trying to stay on the lead lap, and doesn't really seem like we're pressing the issue too much. Here comes Trevor Absher all by himself from that lead pack to come down pit road. That's going to be tough to try and get back up with somebody to draft with after a green flag pit stop.
Ken Eller is still in pit road in his number 23 machine as he's made his way down. Same thing with Trevor Absher. The good thing about Daytona, though, especially these cars, is you can get full throttle. You can really get going on the apron without worrying about sliding up as much. There's still a little bit of room to slide around there, but an experienced driver can really make up some room on that apron. As a 38 Press Superior has announced that he's coming down pit road this time by, so we expect to see Superior head down pit road, and again, we'll see how this will mix things up as Wade Palmer actually came out behind Pete Woodrum, as well as Moffitt in the 52, but I believe Moffitt hasn't pitted yet.
One of the things to add to the notebook for later on, Preston Superior able to get an additional lap on the field. He was able to kind of, you heard the onboard shot there. He was right behind those lead, the tail end of the lead lap cars. He was able to kind of burp the throttle just a little bit, save an extra lap of fuel. As you can see, Pete Woodrum trying to get down low and make up some ground, trying to weave his way through some of these lap traffic cars and get on around. Oh no, these are lead lap cars. These are battles for position. These are drivers coming off a pit road, just getting back up to speed. So Jimmy Absher now up front in the 18 car, still hasn't come down pit road, I believe, with Wade Bowen, Preston Furrier, the 3 cars out on track. And Eric Kling in the 51 car looks like he's won the race off of pit road, currently leading all drivers that have come down to get their stop here.
Some clean and green flag action. We saw a couple quick cautions to start off tonight's event. However, since then, it's they've gotten to this rhythm, a really good rhythm, and being able to turn some green flag laps. The way it looks here, Paul, as it starts to file back through, we got these drivers coming down pit road finally. That 19 of Trevor Absher is leading the 24 machine of Wade Palmer, and they're trying to get up to Drew Moffitt, who looks like he's heading down pit road. So Drew did not pit yet, but Pete Woodrum, I believe, did. Eric Clean may have as well. So I believe that's going to be your lap, your lead lap pack here as they make it up to speed. And here's Jameson, middle miss, kind of in the middle of the track there as the leaders are coming up on him. Thankfully, he's able to work to the outside for some time. But that's going to put the 4 and the 19 of Absher side by side for second. See a little bit of that side draft there. Oh, the 24 gets in the back of the 19. He's able to hold it. Trevor Absher holds the 24, lets off, and lets the 19 back in front of him. Man, what a moment there. You know the 4 of Woodrum said, please save it. And he did. And now the 19 is going to tuck in front of the 4 of Woodrum, leading the 24 and the 4 side by side. Again, though, you see those 2 front cars pulling away because they are side by side. And now we have a battle for the lead as the 19 looks to the outside of Kling. Gets back single file as they come across the line.
It's actually a battle for second. We're taking a look at the timing and scoring. The 38 car, Preston Furrier, came down 1 lap later than the rest of the field. Must have had a little bit of drafting help. He's got a 2.5 second lead over Eric Kling here in the 38 car, and you can see he's kind of tucked in just barely in behind one of these lap cars here. So he's got just enough drafting help to kind of keep him almost up to speed, and you can see the pack now splitting up just a little bit as they try to get up to that lap car. I believe that's the 14 of Derek Cook, but the 38 car definitely a move of the race here halfway through. Able to come down. He's got able to save just a little bit of fuel. Came down a little bit later, and you can see he's going to try and get around. That's Derek Cook in front of him in that Ford Performance number 14 car, and he's going to just kind of tuck in behind, hold on to his draft as long as he can, and see if he can hold off these leaders that are going to be coming up, led by that 51 car of Eric Kling.
Big wreck on the front stretch, Paul. Big wreck. The 15 of Ryan Kling goes around. Ryan Kling of the 15 gets put around. Caution is out here at Daytona. Paul, that is pretty big. Ryan has been in the running throughout the race. Checking out quickly what happened. It looked like him and possibly the 37 machine of Ian Yeager ended up making contact off of turn 4. Paul's going to get us the replay. Not as big as I thought it was, but that 15 definitely made it look big the way that he was crumpled up there, as Paul's going to get us a replay.
Calling a beer bong instant replay coming at you once again. And you can see we're going to keep an eye on that number 15 car. You see the 37 just kind of gets a little overzealous, gets put up in the outside wall, comes back down in front of Tim Wortman Jr. and the 15 car of Ryan Kling. You see lots of smoke as he gets them locked up, and more smoke as he gets a little bit heavy on the throttle, gets that thing pointed in the right direction. Lots of heavy damage for the 00, the 15, as well as the 37 car. So tough break for these guys. We've seen speed out of all of them, especially early on here at Daytona, but it's tough to have a good finish here with a lot of damage on this aero-dependent track. So we'll see what these guys are going to be able to do here towards the end of the race.
All right, so now, Paul, we get to kind of settle in and rack them back up, get this field back together, man.
Yeah, and we just had a bunch of drivers come down pit road, the entire field here for green flag pit stops, and you can see Preston Perrier, the winner of that battle, was able to come down and a lap later. So he's got a little bit of an advantage. If he does come down and the entire field comes down at this point, he's got less fuel to put in the car, so he's going to be on pit road for less time. Or if we all stay out, he's going to be able to go an additional lap. But here at this point at Daytona Super Speedway Racing, I think a lot of these drivers are going to come down, top off, potentially take the time to get four fresh tires. You can see Pete Woodrum going to lead them down. Wade Palmer both 4th and 5th coming down. Tim Ingram, pretty much the rest of the field outside of the top 10. Preston Perrier, Eric Klink, Trevor Apsher staying out on track. Looks like everybody else going to come down pit road and get some service to the machines. So great racing so far. Lap 46 in the books. 80 laps here at Daytona for the first race of the season. And this guy's putting on a clinic so far.
All right, just kind of listening in here, Paul. Just listen a little bit of the chatter in here. These guys having some fun. Preston Perrier and Trevor Apsher talking a little bit back and forth there. These drivers really do have a lot of fun. Big different age range through here as well. You got some teenagers, you got some older gentlemen out here, all making their way around Daytona International Speedway. And I think this is a big break for a lot of these guys that may have gotten shuffled back, maybe didn't have the best green flag stops from the last couple stops that we've seen. And this gives them that second chance. And I'll tell you what, Paul, and you can attest to this, sometimes when you get those green flag runs in and something happens to you, man, you don't think you'll ever see that yellow. And in the opportunity that you do, it is a saving grace.
Yeah, it's happened to me time and time again. Actually, just happened to me a couple of weeks ago when I made my debut in the Liberty Racing Series. Had a couple of quick cautions, and I made a green flag pit stop, and, well, I spun out, and I thought we were under caution, so I didn't really get after it too quick, and then I realized, oh, green flag pit stop, and we went green for the rest of the race. So had a lot of fun back in your project there, the Liberty Racing Series, Thursday nights racing. A lot of fun. Hopefully we can get back out on track, do a little bit more super speedway racing coming up in the future. But I do want to take a second here. Got a minute or two under caution. See if we can't dial up the champ here and the number 19 at Trevor Apsher. See if we can get a little booth to car connection here. Trevor Apsher, champ. What's going on? Paul Strickland up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got a copy. What's going on?
High energy in that 19 car. Nothing's changed from last season. You got that championship trophy. You won the last race of the season. Running third right now. What do you got for him?
I'm going to give her everything I got. I've just been trying to run up front and give her everything I got.
Good looking paint scheme, rocking the Martin Truex Jr. Red, white, and blue cars. Want to give you a chance, give anybody a shout out, teammates, sponsors, anybody new in the 19 team?
I want to give shout outs to all my teammates, just like last season. Definitely Coach Jimmy. I mean, we wouldn't be here without him and all my teammates, man. We're having a blast, ready to get back at it this year. Hopefully I can get a win tonight and then just relax the rest of the season, try to find some more speed.
Well, good luck. Looks like you got to get back to work here. Lights are off in the pace car. We're lined up 2 by 2. Good luck. Well, hopefully we'll talk to you after the race.
Thank you. I guarantee you're going to talk to me after the race.
Very young, very confident Trevor Apsher came home with the championship last season. Yes.
Well, it's a cool thing about Discord. I have to mention this for the viewers. If somebody is listening to music while they race, it will say it here, and he's actually listening to a George Jones song right now on Spotify as he runs third place. If that don't say something about that boy, I don't know what the hell will. That is awesome. He's got George Jones in his ear, giving him a little bit of pep in his step, ready to go green here at Daytona.
Always entertaining. Young Trevor Absher came home with the championship, and great to talk to him before the race, after the race, during the race, whenever it may be. A little bit jumbled up here on the start, but green flag in the air. You can see Preston Perrier down low, the 51 of Eric Kling on the outside. Trevor Absher moving himself into that second spot in that bottom side. And you can see a little bit tighter down in the bottoms. All the drivers are trying to get to that the glory land down by that double yellow spot.
Paul, it kind of reminds me of old Bristol, and Daytona should not remind me of Bristol. It is a battle for the bottom, and if you get hung out, you're going to the back. And that's what we're seeing as we saw the top 10 scramble to the bottom with a couple cars led by Eric Kling leading it out on the outside here, trying to keep pace with Drew Moffitt behind him, and the Ford machine of Woodrum trying to get some any kind of ground going on that outside. And so far, they're holding their own, Paul, but all it's going to take is one car, like that 24 car, to get close to that Kling machine to kind of slow down his run, and then that's going to be all she wrote for that outside. But in order for them to do that, 24 has to stop lagging out.
Yeah, and you can see we're still trying to get that bottom side organized. A couple of cars pulled away there just a bit. Preston Perrier and Trevor Absher just talked to him. And that 19 car pulled out in front of this pack, and they're 2x2 behind them. And the 51 car holding his own outside. Eric Kling looks like he's got a Falcon 9 rocket, and I'm so glad I got to use that joke because he's sponsored by SpaceX. So that's pretty cool to see in the iRacing world. And trying to hold his own on the outside. You see the 43 is going to try and dip up there, maybe potentially work with him. Nope, thinks better of it. He's going to tuck back in behind his teammate there, or former teammate there, in the number 24. Palmer the 5th, Palmer the 4th, running 3rd and 4th. Eric Kling slipping back to 5th. As you can see, he's going to fall back just a little bit further back. Only 2 cars behind him on that high side, helping him out. Everybody else down on the bottom.
I was hoping there was going to be a story that Wade Palmer the 4th and 5th aren't actually related. That would be a heck of a story here. But man, again, that you're trying to get the Kling is really trying to get the highlight going in the 51. Let's see if you see him get right up next to the 24, just trying to slow down his momentum. Noticing that he got right to his right rear quarter panel. He's got a car up high, so he's going to have no choice but to possibly get down to the bottom line here as the 24 blinks out, comes back in. You can tell Eric Kling wants to get that outside going. It's just when you don't have the momentum, you're going to be like the 62 machine of Ingram and Drew Moffitt in the 52, as both of those drivers just plummet to the back. You just can't do it as a 52 of Moffitt muscles his way in front of Woodrum in the 4 just to try to stop the bleeding, as we're going to see the 62 tries to do the same. He does. The 41 of Battles catches or gives him a break, and we're single file basically through the field.
Less than 30 laps to go here at Daytona for the Daytona 200, brought to you by Secret Simulations. The very first race here in the Lugz Racing Series, rebranded as the Lugz Racing Series, the same group as the Fathead Cup Series last season. You saw them about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Trevor Absher came home with the championship in the 19 car, showing he is still very, very strong. He's the only Toyota in the top 19, Jimmy Absher, his father, actually, in the 18 car and teammate back in the 20th position. Lots of Chevys and Fords throughout the field, and they're pretty much dominating here. Ford out front, Toyota second, and then a slew of Chevys here in the top, slew of Chevys here in the top 7. So different manufacturers doing different things here, and I think a lot of this is teammates kind of working together, whether it's the Chevy satellite teams or some of the bigger teams working together as well.
I think it's pretty cool, Paul, seeing the different family relations in here. You have the Abshers and the Palmers. It seems like you have enough Palmers to field a football team. But there's definitely enough of them, seeing 2 of them race here. That is so, so cool. I love being able to get family involved. And, you know, some of these kids, I'm sure some of them race in real life, like the Abshers. Some of them might not be able to. This might be the closest thing to racing with their dad or racing with their son if they get a chance to. That's a really cool thing that iRacing allows. Something I wish I could have had the opportunity to do so, and I love being able to see these kids being able to do so on here. Before, you're just holding the second controller in hand playing against your father on a console game, but this gives us the opportunity to race online with your family. So super, super cool.
Yeah, and able to mix and match as well. You can race with family and friends all throughout the country, all throughout the world. iRacing, a worldwide service. You can check it out, iRacing.com. Good friends of ours here at Verdane TV, and very thankful they allow us to do this broadcast thing here over the past year and a half, and it's really special to us throughout the pandemic time. There was really nothing to do, nowhere to go, nowhere to watch, and we had a lot of racing groups come up to us. We worked with New Smyrna Speedway, Hudson Speedway, lots of Tim's Corner Motorsports action from Maritime Canada, the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group. They've got a lot of Stafford Speedway, Jennerstown, Oxford Plains regulars, the late models, super late models, some past drivers in there as well. We've even seen some Cup drivers come out and run some races here. Cale Gale winning a couple of the races on the NEPS League, and we've seen Kevin King come in and I don't want to use the word dominate the Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series on Monday nights, but he's won a lot of races here this season, coming in a little bit late, and it looks like he's going to be battling for that championship coming up here in November. But really cool to see lots of families and friends here in the Lugz Racing Series, able to work with each other, work against each other, and have that friendly competition. I know after Trevor Absher won that championship last year, he actually had to call his uncle, who was his boss, and let him know he was going to be late the next day because he was celebrating pretty hard. But always cool to see, and we're glad these guys have allowed Verdane TV to allow us to usher the information and the entertainment into your homes. So thank you for wherever you're watching here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. Let your friends know you're watching a little bit of racing action here with the iRacing service on Verdane TV. Lugz Racing Series Daytona 200 here, brought to you by Secret Simulations. 25 laps to go of the 80 scheduled. And you can see a little bit of conveyor belt action going on here, Wes. These drivers know they've got one more pit stop they're going to have to make here within the next couple of laps, I think. A lot of these drivers are going to be doing a little bit of short pit action so they don't have to spend too much time on pit road. And we saw just about everybody take 4 tires last time by, so I think we're going to see a lot of 2 tires and maybe fuel only here for the last stop.
Yeah, we got one more pit stop here, Paul, and it's crazy to hear somebody celebrated that hard about an iRacing championship, but that proves how hard these guys fight, and they practice to make this happen. As a little bit of 3-wide action further back in the pack, contact between the 23 and the 33. 33 is Guy Bonneville, gets put in the wall. He is not happy on the Penalty Drivers Communication Channel. Ken Eller kind of took a 3-wide, put him in the wall, back up rocking and rolling, no harm, no foul, nobody's spinning, so... but we're about to have cars pitting here, Paul. We have the 51 has radioed in of Eric Kling. He plans on pitting here soon. So keep an eye on that 51 machine as they come out of turn 4. Let's see if he's going to bring her on down pit road. He ducks underneath our double yellow line. He heads down pit road, slowing down to that measly 55 miles an hour of pit road speed here at Daytona. And wow, 13 and 18, hard together. They collect the 2 of Bobby Justice. Big wreck off of the tri-oval. The 2 is wrecked hard. We stay green. The 18 of Jimmy Absher heading towards inside wall. The 33 is wadded up as well. He's still making his way around from earlier, but the 2 is done. The 18 is done, and the caution does not fly. Waiting to see if an admin ends up throwing a caution, but we do not see the caution flag fly as of yet. We stay green. Big junk here at Daytona.
And there you can see Eric Kling come off a pit road. He catches a break there with the caution flag not coming out, and you can see still up front. You can still see the smoke on the front straightaway here with these drivers, but it looks like everybody is off the track, off of Racing Groove, so we battle on here. Preston Perrier up front, Trevor Absher, a pair of Palmers 3rd and 4th, and Michael Miller. And one of the things I want to point out here, Wes, and you'll probably see this, you are going to see it, these Hendrick Motorsports teammates running 3rd, running 5th, running 6th, and running 8th. These guys probably going to come down pit road together, and you'll see them come off of pit road together. I think you're going to see these Hendrick Motorsports drivers working together in this last 22 laps or so. You can see it's still a little bit of a connection issue for that 24 car, Wade Palmer the 5th. Hopefully we can get that squared away, but a couple more cars coming down pit road. There you see Trevor Absher, Preston Perrier. They're going to give up 1 and 2. They're going to come down, and that's going to leave the Hendrick Motorsports drivers and the 43 of Wade Palmer the 4th out front right now.
A lot of disdain in the driver chat since there was no caution that came out. I'm not sure if admin only cautions are on or not, but with that incident, a lot of drivers lost the draft checking up for that incident. So a little bit of communication issues there, but you see quite a few cars have headed down pit road. But we got about 15 cars in this lead pack as they're trying to weave their way to the bottom. Who's going to pit, who's not. The drivers that are on the top here that plan on pitting, they better hurry up and find their way to the bottom. But not quite yet. It's still conveyor belt across that double yellow line. But Paul, we're to 20 to go here at the line. This is when it starts to turn up. I don't think they will have to pit again for at least for fuel once they pit their last time. So drivers trying to figure out who they're going to go with, how they're going to make this happen. A driver like Absher, who has already head down pit road, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. But Trevor Absher in that 19, he's up with Ken Ellert in the number 23, who is also with Eric Kling in the 51. So he's got a 3-car draft back there, our champion. Other than that, we're waiting to see what these leaders do.
And you can see everybody snaking back and forth there on the back stretch, trying to get down to the bottom. And we'll see probably a couple of cars peel off and make some last-minute pit stops. And a lot of things going through your mind. You want to make sure you get checked up. Everybody comes down. We got one car towards the back of the pack that's going to come down. Drew Moffitt, the number 52 Ford, he's going to come down and get service to his car, and everybody else stays on track here in the top 14 or so. As we're 14 cars strong in this lead pack. A couple of drivers up on the high side, but for the most part, everybody down on the bottom. You want to make sure you get your car woed up and slowed up. You don't want to chirp the tires. You don't want to bang up the tires. You don't want to get into anybody. And oh, by the way, we heard we had some pit sign issues for that first pit stop, so that's in the back of your head as well. You want to make sure you've got a flawless, perfect pit stop here with less than 20 laps to go. All these drivers in the top 14, really throughout the top 22 drivers still on the lead lap here. Anything can happen, and anything will happen at Daytona International Speedway, especially when we're in the iRacing verse. And you can see just anybody in this top pack is still in contention for this win. And especially with the pit stop still looming in the near future here. 18 laps to go. We just crossed the stripe. Who's going to come down?
Oh, a little bit of news here. Pete Woodrum in the 4 has lost connection. Pete Woodrum in the 4 is no longer in the field. That is huge. A driver that was in the top 10 throughout this race has disconnected involuntarily. So big break for the number 4 machine and the Pete Woodrum fan club. Now, a lot of the drivers here, they circle her off turn 4, Paul. Keep an eye on a lot of the leaders heading down pit road as it starts off with the 12 machine. We got the 21 in, the 77 at Kapala, the 8 at Kevin Ruff, Chris Spear, and more.
Half a dozen or so drivers peeling off, mostly in the back part of that lead draft here. And you can see the Hendrick Motorsports stable still out front, still kind of lined up, working together just a little bit. And at this point, they're just staying bumper to bumper, lined up, getting some good draft laps, getting some good lap times, trying to put some distance between themselves and the other groups. One on pit road and a couple of drivers, Dave Douthwaite, Trevor Absher, Preston Perrier, Drew Moffitt, and Eric Kling a little bit further back. They're just now getting to the front straightaway to get around that pack of drivers that came down pit road. So I think the closer we get to the end of this race, you can see a couple more drivers going to peel off from the back of this group. They're going to peel off and get some service. There goes Tim Ingram, Josh Battles, Colin Zemer down pit road. Battle for the lead. The 43 car going to try and get around the 24 car, and takes the lead on the high side, and that might be a fuel-saving maneuver. We've seen that 24 car leading this pack for much of this run, so you might be dropping back just a little bit to save a little bit of fuel to get back to pit road.
All right, so we're going to see how the leaders all mesh out after the pit stops here, as we have a few more cars leaving pit road. As of now, your leader back again is Wade Palmer, but here comes the 5. Wade Palmer.
24's out of fuel. 24's out of fuel.
Oh, man. Wade Palmer running out of fuel. This is basically, without a caution, this will solidify any chance he had of winning today's race. Wow. Oh, man. Not a good fuel call, obviously, for that driver. Man, that is not good for the 24s. The rest of the leaders do come down pit road. I guess the only saving grace that he has here is that he should have at least a couple cars to come out of pit road with if he can stay up with the draft. But he is the last one to hit his stall. Man, tough break for Wade Palmer the 5th. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah, you see he does make it to his pit stall, so that's definitely good news, but lost a lot of time there as he burped the throttle. You can see the rest of the pack now down and away. He's going to lose a little bit of time, so he's going to have to try and hook up with some other cars there on track. You can see everybody else is already down and away. There you see the 16, and I believe the 18 going on around. No, that's not the 18. One of the red, white, and blue cars out here on pack, and you can see 9th, 10th just slipping back, losing positions here. He might be able to hook up with Trevor Absher, Preston Perrier, maybe get some draft back up. But Ed Boyles Jr. in the 5 car wins the race off pit road, has the lead briefly, but that other pack is going to come up around here. And, well, we'll see. Nope, these are actually guys. Nope, this is for the race for the lead. So the 62, Tim Ingram, going to take over the lead. There's that 21 car, Caleb Levener. Saw him get caught up with the 33 car earlier on in the race. He's up in that 2nd position. Kenny Capola, Colin Zemer, there was that 32 car. We saw he was one of those drivers trying to hold on to the tail end of the lead lap about 30 laps ago or so. Now running in the top 5, and you can see Ed Boyles Jr. going to settle back in here to 5th. Josh Battles 6th. Wade Palmer the 4th grabs the 7th position. Trevor Absher has made it back up to 8th. 9th, Preston Perrier, and 10th is going to go to Matt Mackin.
Paul, there must have been a little bit of a mix-up there in the pit road. I did not expect to see the leaders to be who they are. That first lead pack really had a disadvantage coming out as late as they did for the drivers that we have up front. I did not expect to see Tim Ingram in the 62 come out with the lead with Caleb Levener. For the most of this race, haven't they been further in the back, Paul?
Yeah, and that may very well be part of the strategy. We made mention that 32 car as well. Colin Zemer almost lost a lap under green flag conditions earlier on in the race, and now he's solidly in the top 5. And you can see about 6 cars in that front pack have kind of put themselves together. There's 3 cars in the 2nd pack, one all by himself, and then the rest of the field there being led by, looks like, the 19 of Trevor Absher. So big mix up there on pit road. I'm not entirely sure what went down with all those the Hendrick Motorsports cars. We did see the 9 and the 5 kind of lock up the brakes there, but Ed Boyles Jr. still able to cling on to this front pack, and Matt Mackin back here with this gaggle of cars. You can see the 19 and the 1 side by side there for 9th place, trying to get everything organized here. 48, a little bit of a mix-up. He's going to shoot up towards the wall. But not really much organization in this pack with 13 laps to go. If we don't get a caution, these guys really do have to get hooked up and bumper to bumper to see if they can make up some ground on these leaders.
Paul, that 19 of Absher and the 1 of Hum Sr. were getting super close there at making contact. It's hard for them to really hold it steady. But nonetheless, they want to catch this lead pack and make it a race. They have to stay single file here. You got to put your pride behind you. Be okay to be the 2nd or 3rd car in line because they are a ways back. They're about a half straightaway behind this front pack. As the front pack's entering 3 right now, they're just now midway down the backstretch. So, and as they enter 3 now, so they're about 4 seconds behind. There's no time for fun and games. You know, you're coming to the line next time to take 11 to go. It's time to rock and roll if you want a chance at this. As Tim Ingram crossed the line for 1 to go.
And you can see everybody kind of lining up, trying to get around the number 20s of Charles Stevens. Some big-time damage in the front of that Toyota. Everybody down and away in this pack, and Matt Mackin in that 9 car trying to lead the charge. Trying to get everybody lined up here single file to see if they can catch the leaders. They've got about 3 seconds to catch up to the 43 car, who's got a little bit of a gap in front of him. He's got Josh Battles right in front of him. But Ed Boyles Jr. in 5th place, he's about another 2 seconds ahead. So he's holding on barely, it looks like, to that lead draft. The highest running Hendrick Motorsports car is Ed Boyles Jr. in that number 5 car. But Tim Ingram out front, Caleb Levener, Kenny Capola, Colin Zemer in the 32 car running 1 through 4.
Paul, typically I would say this is calm before the storm, but again, it's so hard to run side by side here at Daytona. We've seen that worm burner, as we would call it, New Smyrna Speedway. It's that conveyor belt. You sit on the bottom. You're afraid to move to that outside line because you need 5 or 6 cars out there to really make a difference. It's not like the Xfinity car or the trucks where you can hop out there with just a couple cars and really start to make a move. You need a full line just to pick up 1 or 2 positions. So with that being said, the guy in the catbird seat is Tim Ingram. If this is any other car but the Cup Series, I would say he's in the worst seat possible coming down with less than 10 to go because usually you're set up at that point. But if you're looking, Larry Levener in the number 12 is doing everything he can to catch Caleb Levener. He gets right to his bumper as we see here, and then there's like a bubble. There's like a wall in between those two cars where it does not allow him just to come up and bump him like you typically see at a super speedway race. With this package, it makes it very hard.
And you can see the 62 doing everything he can to try and protect that bottom 21 car season opening in the outside. He's going to get a push from the Penske Dodge number 12, or the Penske Ford, rather. Wow, taking a step back in the old-time machine.
Wow!
21, I wouldn't know if you call that a slide job. Still not quite clear. The 62 is still going to stay in the throttle. Still not clear.
Look at that.
That might be clear, but he's all over the back bumper. The 62 pushing the 21, letting him know. Didn't quite like that move. Still 8 laps to go as we cross the stripe here at Daytona International Speedway. That's going to get...
out. Caution is out, Paul. Caution is out.
Ken Eller looks like he is around in his racing machine. The number 23 Toyota completely smashed. Looks like somebody took his McDouble and, well, he just kind of smashed the bag with that one.
Well, I'll see exactly what ended up happening. I hear Ken is apologizing to somebody, so it sounds like he may have gotten into it with the 48 or possibly another driver. Not exactly sure what happened. It actually looks like the 23 comes down across the nose of the 48 on the back stretch, and he sends him for a ride on the back stretch down into the wall. And it's going to be a rough one as Paul brings us up for the instant replay.
At the Conk Beer Bong instant replay once again. You can see the 23 up on the high side and comes down, tries to clear the 48 car, comes right across his nose and gets himself spun out, and big heavy contact with the safer inside wall there. Doesn't look like there's too much damage to the number 48 car, maybe a little bit of a crinkled in right front fender, but the damage is definitely going to go to the front of that 23 car. Tough break for Ken Eller. It looks like the spotter might have been sleeping on that one. Tried to come down and get a piece of real estate from the 48, but the 48 didn't want to give it up.
Hard racing everywhere. You know, I was just saying that Ingram was in the catbird seat, and then out of nowhere, Caleb Lebner puts beyond a power move to grab the lead from him. That was one heck of a move. To do it with just one pusher, that was interesting.
Yeah, it's great to see that this whole field is going to get bunched back up here. A couple of drivers going to get the opportunity to come down, potentially get a little bit of fuel, maybe get some tires, maybe get one of or all of the panels kind of pulled out on these race cars here in the iRacing service, get the virtual hammers out and get some of this damage fixed. But probably going to get to restart with 5 laps to go. We've had an exciting race all night long here. You can see the 5 car. He's going to, well, nope, he's going to fake it. Everybody decides to stay out on track. Trevor Absher in the 19 is going to give up a top 10. He's going to come down. Eric Kling, Tim Wortman Jr., and a couple of drivers towards the back of the pack going to come down and get some service. So that's going to be interesting. We'll see if the Absher machine in the 19 or the 51, if fresh tires are going to matter here with 5 laps to go. It's go time at this point. Time to crank up the wick, and we're going to see who's going to come home with the victory. But great to see Caleb Levener out front, Tim Ingram second, Kenny Capola, Colin Zemer, and Ed Boyles Jr. rounding out the top 5 battles. Palmer the fourth, Mack and Hume, Puryear in the top 10. And it looks like Keith Hume Sr. is going to take that 10th spot away. So great racing here for the first race of the season, a Loose Lugz, newly branded Loose Lugz Racing Series, coming at you every single Wednesday night here throughout the fall and winter months. Going to round out the end of the summer here first before we get to fall, and kind of bring in the new season, or the winter season as it were, here for Vaname TV. We've made mention. Lots of leagues coming back here. The New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group, East Coast Winter League, they're going to be coming back. Tim's Corner Motorsports still trying to iron out the schedule, but he's going to be racing Wednesday nights once we're done with the podcast stuff during the real racing season up in the Maritime Canada. So lots of stuff coming here at Vaname TV. Lots of sponsorship opportunities as well. If you want to come out, sponsor the network here, lots of different things we can put your brand or logo on to make sure that you know that we know that the fans know that you support and entertaining the masses. And really looking forward to our second winter doing that. Had a lot of fun over the past year and a half calling these iRacing shows, and you can check out our YouTube page, Vaname TV on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. You get the notifications every single time we go live, and you can check out over 500 live shows that we've done on demand over there on the YouTube page. Check out the website, Vidane.net, and check out the merch, the virtual merchandise booth, www.vidane.shop. Get yourself a Vidane TV shirt, Angry Tree Guy shirt, rent a race car, Two Drunk Esports. They're all lined up, ready for your money. And be sure to check it out and let everybody know that you support Vidane TV. That's Vidane.shop. Got all sorts of cool stuff over there.
Awesome, and here we go. Looks like we're going to have the restarts coming up here. We got 1 to go. We're going to take the green flag next time by with 4 laps remaining in this race as the field comes around turn 2 here. Paul, all right, now's that time. Who's your putting money on? Pick somebody out of the top 5, or you know what? Pick somebody out of the top 15 because this is Daytona. Anything can happen.
To pick somebody outside of the top 15, I'm going for 16th place, Trevor Rapture in that 19 car.
It would be interesting to see if he could pull off the I guess you could say the underdog victory, even though he's a champion. It would be a miracle if he was able to pull it out from all the way back there. This is Daytona. But Paul, I'm going with it again. I'm going to go with our top 15. I'm just going to say our leader, Caleb Levner. I am not a fan of racing at this track with this car in this package. It makes it super hard to pass. You saw what it took for Caleb Levner to get that lead. Does anybody else have anything, a move like that up their sleeve and willing to make that move coming with 4 to go? As we're about to find out as the iRacing pace car makes its way out of turn 4, creeping down at 80 miles an hour here. We're waiting. The pace car is down. Now the line is on the leader, and we are green flag racing here again at Daytona with 4 to go. And the 62, not with the best start there on the outside. He's going to get put 3 wide by Colin Zemer. Haven't said his name much in the 32 machine. He takes him 3 wide. Ian Yeager, though, not a good start with the 62, really bunching up that outside lane. And doing so, that has opened up the door for another fighter that we haven't said his name much either. And that's going to be Michael Miller in that 48. Rear end all bunched up. He's able to break his way into the top 10 here. It's going to be interesting to see what that 48 can do with his rear end smashed up as much as it is. But Caleb Levner is going to be your leader coming into turn 3.
Tough break for the 62 car. You can see he finally finds a home bear back in 11th position. And you can see this is where the high side is going to start to come into play. The 5 machine of Ed Boyles Jr. trying to get up on the high side. You can see he's bringing that Hendrick Motorsports power with him. The 48's up there. Matt Mackin's up there. The 21's going to go up, try to block. Not much room there. The 5's going to come back down. Down on the low side, the 5 car doesn't quite get the lead. But you can see those Hendrick Motorsports cars lined up trying to push themselves into victory lane, cross the stripe. 3 laps to go. Here comes the Jet. They're landing in turn 1. Holy crap, we're going to have a great race here.
Caleb Levner is going to start dropping like a rock to anybody behind him. All that momentum was lost making that block, and now he has nowhere to go, falling gracefully out of the top 5 and then some, as now he's side by side with the 41 of Battles. Battles last time around was 10th place. This time around, he's currently sitting 6th. See what else that number 41 has. He's going to have a heck of a run here coming off of turn 4. Can he do anything with it? He cannot, as they're 3 wide with the 62 on the apron. Further behind them, wrecks into the 24. The 24 goes around. He saves it in the grass. Miraculous save by Wade Palmer. The 5th. 5 to go, 2 to go.
Popsicle sticks in the air. Ed Boyles Jr. out front, the number 5 car. Wade Palmer, the 4th, right behind him. Kenny Capola in the 77 moves himself up into the top 3. Preston Perrier in the 4th position. Colin Zemer holding on to the top 5. Everybody pretty much single file. You can see 1 car up on the high side. He's going to think better of it. Tuck back in on the bottom side. It's going to be tough to get around the 5 and the 43.
Second behind them. The 12 gets wrecked hard. 12 gets wrecked hard further back. Oh, they collect more. The 15 collects the 12 of Ryan Kling. Charles Stevens involved, Eric Kling's involved, Tim Wortman's involved, and more. They wreck basically for last. The leaders cannot be happy with this. 2 to go, and just 3 cars running 3 wide for I don't know what reason. Further back in the pack, bring out the caution, all starting around the 51 machine of Eric Kling, who, Paul, when you take a look at it here, goes on the outside of the 15. The 15 collects the 12, and then the 51 Eric Kling is just an innocent victim going through this. Larry Levner, though, taking a hard hit.
Yeah, and there you can see as it goes across your screen, a 20 car involved as well. Charles Stevens, tough break for him. Tough break for the 51, the 15. drivers towards the back of the pack, and it's going to set up a green-white checkered, which is definitely going to bring out the question, do these guys have enough fuel to make the finish of the race? We know a lot of the drivers came down pit road a little bit late, but there were a few drivers that came down early, so you might see some of these drivers run the apron here to try and save just a little bit of fuel to make sure that they've got enough for a green-white checkered. With the green flag stops, sometimes it's hard to do the math when you're this close to the finish of the race, and you can see the 43. He's going to duck down. He may be coming down pit road. He might be trying to fake out the rest of the field. He's all the way down in the left. He's going to give up that second position. The 43, Wade Palmer the fourth, doesn't have enough fuel. He's going to come down pit road. Everybody else, it looks like, is going to try and risk it. The number 1 car is down. The 51 car down on pit road, involved in that wreck. But everybody else looks like they're going to be staying out, and they're going to try and gamble here for the green-white checkered.
All right, so Paul, green-white checkers here at Daytona usually get interesting. We saw on that restart that all it takes is one driver to have a little bit of mishap, as we saw with the 62 of Jaeger, and it bunched everything up. As Tommy Kelly gets a lucky dog getting that number 3 machine. But up front, Ed Boyles Jr. in that 5. We saw it earlier. He had some pit road mishaps. Did not go exactly how he planned. Thought maybe his race was in jeopardy, but here he is in the lead with Kenny Capala in that 77 second, Purier 3rd, Colin Zemer 4th, and Caleb Levener, the driver that was the leader at that restart, sitting 5th. And where did second place end up falling back? I'll tell you where second place ended up falling back, Paul. Second place was the 61, correct? I'm not even seeing the 61 currently.
62, Tim Ingram.
Or 62. I'm not even seeing that 62 machine anywhere near the front. He fell all the way back to 10th of Tim Ingram.
Yeah, you can see right now he's parked in between those 2 Hendrick Motorsports teammates. A couple of Hendrick Motorsports teammates. Michael Mill in the 48, he's up in the 7th spot. Wade Palmer the 5th in the 24 car. There you can see him in the 8th position, and then Matt Mackin in 10th. So 62 surrounded by Hendrick Motorsports at this point, and their teammate up front, Ed Boyles Jr. in the 5 car, the Valvoline ride. He's going to be up front. He's going to take this green flag here. Looks like we got at least one more lap under caution here. The light's still on in the iRacing pace car, so going to thunder on around here, 80 miles an hour, and everybody's going to try and save as much fuel as they possibly can. We saw that the 43 car, Wade Palmer the 4th, did not have enough fuel to finish for the green-white checkered. Maybe had enough to make it to the scheduled checkered after lap 80, but not enough for the additional 3 laps that we're going to get here, plus the 2 laps of caution. So that's a tough break for the 43 car. He's going to restart all the way back in the 17th position. He's one of the only lead lap drivers to come down here under this caution to get service to that car. But here we go. Lights are off in the iRacing pace car. Lined up 2 by 2 all the way through. Ed Boyles Jr. out front, Kenny Capole in the 77 car on the outside, Colin Zemer, Preston Purrier, Josh Battles the top 5, Levener, Miller, Palmer the 5th, Ingram, and Mackin rounding out the top 10. 3-lap dash to the finish here. Green-white checkered attempt number 1 here at Daytona, the Secret Simulations Daytona 200. Here for the very first race of the season, the newly branded Lugz Racing Series. Action-packed all night long, and we get a little bit of an encore here with the green-white checkered attempt. This is going to be exciting.
Paul, we saw that last restart was beyond exciting. It was extremely unpredictable. Did not expect second place to get that start that he did. However, that really bunched it up. Now we get to see who has what for who. I believe they only have one green-white checkered attempt here, Paul. So if the caution comes out again before the white flag, this thing is over. So hopefully, if anything does happen, they get across the line to get a green flag finish. So here we go. The pace car's coming at turn 4. We're going green one more time here at Daytona.
And you saw from that ground shot there, the speed cam down in turn number 4. Lots of damaged race cars towards the back of the pack, and a lot of clean race cars up towards the front, but damaged race cars sprinkled in throughout. There goes the pace car. He's going to come down pit road one more time, and that green flag is in the air. Oh, big check up. 21's around. Big wreck.
21 goes around. Big check. Big wreck further in the back. Cars all over the place. This race is over.
There you can see it looks like a parking lot out in the front here in the grass. A lot of drivers pointed in the wrong direction. A lot of damaged race cars. I believe that might have started with the 21 of Caleb Levener, but we'll pull up the Conga Beer Bong instant replay from what looks like will be the last time here, because I'm not seeing the lap counter get reset. We're still showing 2 laps to go, so I believe you're right, Wes. I believe this race is over. We'll double check that when we come back to it. But here's the restart, and right from the word go, we'll take a peek at from the camera here and see what happened. And you can see everybody kind of gets jumbled up, and the 21 car just gets pushed around from the back after a big checkup. And just when you get spun around like that on the start, right in the racing groove, really nowhere for these drivers to go. So tough break for the 21. The 12, here you can see he's involved. He popped a motor down there. The 37 involved in another wreck. So it's unfortunate to see all these guys kind of jammed up, and a lot of guys are going to be happy that this race is over, especially it looks like potentially Kenny Coppola, who might have come home with the victory here.
Paul, not exactly sure who's going to be scored the winner. I know that Abbins reps look back at it. I know Ed Boyles was the leader coming to the line, but it's what happens at the time of caution, and it's looking like the 77 of Kenny Coppola could possibly be your winner, as it looks like the drivers are coming around 3 and 4. This race will be official. That is the race here, Paul. They're not going to get another green-white checkered attempt, so very underwhelming finish, if I must say, after a pretty eventful, exciting race. Ends under caution. Looking like your winner is going to be the number 77 of Kenny Coppola after an eventful race for that 77 machine.
And a great race for J&R Aquatics. You can see the logo on the hood and the quarter panels of that car jumping on board that machine last season as a sponsor for the 77 team of Kenny Coppola. And that is it. Unofficially, we're going to give the win to Kenny Coppola in the 77 car. Ed Boyles Jr. second, Colin Ziemer third. Josh Battles fourth. Wade Palmer the fifth, and the 24 car rounds out the top 5. Matt Mack and Derek Cook, Tim Wortman Jr., Trevor Absher, and Michael Miller going to round out the top 10. And we'll go through the finishing lineup here as we see, but we can already see these drivers haven't even come down pit road yet, and the 77 of Kenny Coppola out there doing his donuts just before the entry at turn number 1. Very exciting victory. We're going to be talking to him, Ed Boyles Jr. and Colin Ziemer here. The top 3, the podium finishers. Oh, a little bit of big-time contact. One of the drivers driving on through and trying to ruin the celebration there, but when you win the first race of the season, Wes, doesn't really matter too much. You still feel that victory.
Yeah, all that matters is he brought on the checker flag. Doesn't matter what happens to the car after that. He, as you see, he's still getting the opportunity to burn him down. He's got the hood off the car, a little banged up, but he doesn't care. This thing is over. He is the winner.
So we're going to get lined up with these drivers. Kenny Coppola burning the tires down on the number 77 car. We're going to see if we could even talk to him here while he's doing his victory burnouts. Kenny Coppola winning the first race of the season, man. Congratulations.
Man, does it feel good. I'm super stoked. I knew I had to go hard off the restart, and I think Ed might have spun his tires a little bit. Colin gave me a good push, and thank God the caution came out, man.
A great run here for the 77 car. New I believe it's the same team, new number for the Kenny Coppola bunch, and it's great to see you in victory lane here. J&R Aquatics jumping on board, supporting you towards the end of last season and coming on here for Daytona, first race of the season as well. Did you have any kind of strategy coming into this? Did you know we were going to do any green flag pit stops or anything like that? Or man, what was going through your head towards the last 5 laps or so?
Well, this Daytona, the only game plan is to stay as clean as you can, and I kind of just rode around the whole race and made a early pit stop on the last green stops, and it put me out up in top 5, and it ended up working out.
And a late race caution, as you made mention, a little bit of icing on the cake, and that was a great run throughout the race, and congratulations, man. I just want to give you an opportunity here to thank anybody, teammates, sponsors. New season kicking off here for the Loose Lugz Racing Series. Who makes it happen for the 77 team?
I want to thank the admins, first of all, for putting this all back together for season 2. Season 1 was great. This one going to be better than last season. You guys at Vine Day TV, you guys always put a great show on. My main sponsor, J&R Aquatics out of Ypsilanti, Michigan, definitely running with me again this year. And then the rest of our sponsors, my teammates. I love those guys like brothers.
So come home with the victory. More importantly, the points lead here, kicking off the season in the best way possible, man. Congratulations on the victory.
Thanks, man.
Slide on over. That's right. Slide on over down pit road a little bit further to the third place finisher, the number 32. In danger of going down a lap under green flag conditions, but held on to the tail end. And Colin Ziemer coming home on the podium in third place. Man, talk to us about your race.
Well, it's caught. We were at a lap down there, but we had work for my teammates, Caleb, and we were able to stay on the lap because we were ahead of them on the fuel window. But that in protecting instance, but it was a good race. Good to be back here. Good to see you guys broadcasting. A lot of work goes into this, and just happy to finally get my first podium.
100% kicking off the season in a big way, finishing third here at Daytona for the Secret Simulations 200. And great race all the way throughout. Had a little bit of a mix. We had green flag stops, yellow flag pit stops, and lots of different strategies going on throughout. And it looks like the fuel window was about 20, 25 laps or so. Did that kind of work into how you came down pit road, or was it just kind of when the teammates said pit, or did you come up with any kind of strategy?
Well, we knew that 18 laps would be the range for our tanks. So as soon as we kind of get inside 18 laps, we decided to pit in together. Me and Caleb and then the other guys pitted with us, and then got out there. Made some adjustments to the tape, adding it to 50%. Get the extra boost on the last 15 laps.
100%, and that's definitely shows it came home with what it needed there on the front of that race car. So finishes in third, and new number here for you, I believe, in the number 32 car.
Last year was 22, and then this year I'm number 32.
So good opportunity to thank teammates, sponsors. Who's getting it done for the 32 this year?
Well, it's just I have great teammates. I got Caleb from last year. We got Larry, who's his dad, and he's doing well. Everyone's solid. We had a couple guys had unfortunate incidents with collisions, but they all raced well. We all were competitive, and
100%, and we'll absolutely get. Gonna have to grab that team roster here. We'll get that posted up on the Vidane TV. It's always cool to see you guys work with the NASCAR teams and the NASCAR paint schemes, and a couple of league sponsors thrown in there as well. So that's always cool to see. Makes it easy for us to follow here in the booth and the fans watching at home.
Yeah.
So congratulations, man. Starting off the season right. Podium finish, P3.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
And we're going to slide up a little bit further down pit road, just getting ready, getting wrapped up, talking with some of the race officials here. One of the league admins, Ed Boyles Jr., the number 5 car, coming home in second place. Great race here. Looks like he might have had the victory coming home before that last caution flag, but just quite didn't have enough to get around that 77 car, or the, check that. Yeah, the 77 car as we came to the checkered.
Yeah, well, when that caution came out right as we were going green, it was a pretty hectic restart there. People weren't really going, so I was trying to not let them lag back and get a jump on me because I would have been hung out by myself. So, I had to obviously slow down a bit, but all in all, it was a good race. A lot of strategy, teammates working together. It was fun. A lot of good racing tonight.
Yeah, great race here at Daytona for the 200-miler. First race of the season. Secret Simulations jumping on board as a race sponsor, and lots of sponsors helping out the league, helping out the team, the Hendrick Motorsports, and helping out the 5-car. Who gets it done for Ed Boyles, and anybody want to give a shout-out to for supporting the league this season?
Yeah, right now I just want to give a shout-out to Secret Simulations for coming on board with us for tonight. We got a couple other sponsors for this year. Butt Kicker. I'm a little rusty right now, so we're still trying to get everything lined up. Butt Kicker was fantastic last year, providing our champion Trevor with, and they're coming back again this year for whoever wins the championship again. So happy to see that. For Team Hendrick right now, I'm still looking for get me a little sponsor to put on my car. I'm just running that old Valvoline scheme. but we'll see what happens in the future. And just give a shout out to all my teammates. It was a big team effort tonight trying to draft and make sure we pit together and use strategy to work well together.
Yeah, and we see it all the time here at the Super Speedways. Hendrick Motorsports group always working very, very well together, whether it's on the track or on pit road. So, congratulations, great run, kicking off the season right. Up in second place finish, second in points, heading into to next week. What do you got for him next week?
We'll see. Phoenix is a good track. I enjoy racing there. I think I'll have a good piece. Last year, I think I did pretty well there. It's going to be a whole different ball game than running here, obviously, with the draft. Next week, think we'll see a lot of different talent come out. We got a lot of new drivers in the league. So curious to see what they got to offer to the league and see what kind of racing we get from everyone.
100%. And if tonight was any kind of teaser, we're in for a show at Phoenix next week. But Daytona finishing second. Congratulations, man. First podium of the year in the first race. See if we can keep that momentum going.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And big shout out to Vidane TV as always. You guys are great.
Appreciate hearing that. And you can check out this race and many races over on the YouTube page, Vidane TV on YouTube, Vidane TV on Facebook, Vidane TV on Twitter. If you shoot on over to the YouTube page, be sure to give us a subscribe and check out over 500 live shows on demand, including this league here. Last year branded as the Fatheads Cup Series. This year branded as the Lugz Racing League. And we picked up right from where we left off here. Action-packed race here at Daytona for the Secret Simulations 200. And you heard Ed Boyles Jr. here, the number 5 car, heading off to Phoenix next week on the West Coast out in the desert of Arizona. So lots of racing coming up here. These guys back Wednesday nights, doubleheader shows throughout the rest of the season. Tim's Corner Motorsports bringing us Tim's Corner live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and 9:05. Going to be the start time officially next week for the Lugz Racing League. And there you can see the weekly schedule here coming up tomorrow night. We've got the Multi-League Cup Series, 30 laps to Watkins Glen. That's going to be a barn burner. We just saw 50 laps at Watkins Glen there on Monday night for the Trans Service Cup Series, brought to you by Sim 500. So really looking forward to that. And then after Thursday night, we're off for a couple of days. Monday night, back for the Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series. And then right back here next week for Phoenix here in the Lugz Racing Series. So lots of action coming up here on Vidane TV. Still looking for sponsors for the end of the summer into the fall and winter months here on Vidane TV as far as the network goes, as far as the league goes as well. A couple of drivers looking for sponsorship as well. So if you want to get your logo out on a car, out on anywhere in the broadcast or anything like that, be sure to slide in our DMs, shoot us a message over on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and while you're there, be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, all that good stuff on the social media outlets. I want to thank all the fans for coming out here tonight, tuning in on YouTube. So much action here at Daytona, I've already actually lost my voice, so good way to kick off a season here. But thanks everybody for tuning in here tonight on YouTube, Vidane TV, getting ready to kick off one heck of a winter season here. And we're going to try and keep the action as hot as it was here at Daytona here tonight for the Secret Simulations 200 at Daytona with a Lugz Racing Series. That's going to do it here for Vidane TV. Everybody here, for myself, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., my partner, Rowdy Wesley Hogue, who had to step out the door rather quickly here at the Checkered Flag. Always a pleasure to work with Wes. And for everybody here for the Lugz Racing Leagues, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. When we do, we're going to be doing it live.